the nature of life itself. Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
The fern?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay. Pay attention to a fern.
Wait, what? We're back at the office?
A little
No,
insane.
no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of the...
Oh, we're back here again.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Alright, I acknowledge it.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. What, am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, let's see what he wants me to do this.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
go through the door
he
he wants
entered
me
the
to go
door on
through.
his left. Yet there was not a single person here
Alright,
either.
meeting room.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I'm just gonna let you guys see the slides for a sec, so they're kind of funny. Bunch of self-referential graphs.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Sure,
office.
we'll go upstairs.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Thanks, Tanya.
Yet
Good night. Thanks for hanging out
by
with me all
simply
day.
pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code.
David should be home
by
to you
sheer
safely.
luck. Amazing.
Pretty soon.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for
Basically
himself,
what the game is
to
doing
question the
is,
nature of his job. Why did he feel this
I forget
now?
how many endings there
When
are,
for
20
years,
or
it had never occurred to him.
so
This
different
question
endings.
would not go unanswered for
So
long.
every possible decision you can make ends up in a different end path.
Stanley walked straight ahead to a
So
large
basically,
door that read Mind Control Facility.
You've pretty much seen, 3 or 4 of the endings already. And you can kind of just keep playing. There is a correct ending. So if you were with me when we played Stories earlier today, that had 30 different endings. They all had a different end story. They all had a different thing that happened. But there was one technically correct ending that the game was trying to get you to do. Same was true with this. There's one correct ending. I think if you just follow every direction, it might be that one. You might, or maybe it's the correct one diverges once or twice. But yeah. So you can kind of just keep playing until you've gotten as many endings as you want. So we're just going to play for about an hour, see how many endings we can get. And my current choice is between a mind control facility and something that's scribbled says escape. But since I've been following directions so far on this ending, I'm just going to keep going this way.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible
Now we're back
secret
in the
did this
television
place hold?
screen room,
Stanley
but this
thought
time
to
he's not
himself.
yelling that
Did he
we're
have the strength
here
to
too
find
early.
out?
The last couple of times he ended up way up there on that catwalk. So now, so we're gonna go this way.
Now the monitors
the
jumped to
cameras.
life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The
One of these
lives
is
of so
supposed to be
many
my
individuals
office.
reduced to images on a screen.
But
And
they're
Stanley,
all
one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
So let's keep going.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.